I highly recommend getting this book and reading the whole thing, but I also thought it'd be helpful if I went into detail and shared my insights, what I got out of the book, just in case you don't have time to read it yourself at this moment. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, welcome. I'm Maddie. I'm a strategic designer and currently a creative resident at Adobe. I make videos about design and productivity, so if you're into those topics, feel free to subscribe down below. Today I want to share with you what I learned from this book, User Friendly by Kuang and Robert Fabricant. I'm going to talk about why I liked it, my 4 biggest takeaways from the book, as well as how it actually changed my approach to my own design work. What I loved most about this book is that it was told through stories of people who pioneered the tech and design industry early on, as well as real users. This made it a lot less conceptual and more relatable. And I really wish that more design books and tech books were written that way, because I'm a super slow reader and I can be easily distracted when reading. But whenever I'm reading something that's more of a story, it gets me so much more engaged, and I got through this book so much quicker than a lot of other design books I've read. Okay, let's move into my 4 big takeaways from this book. One remarkable thing I learned is that our relationships with and expectations of machines, meaning our phones or the cars we drive, are actually more similar to that of humans than our relationships with other inanimate objects such as a chair or a pair of scissors. So when we're talking about design and technology that is humane, we're not just talking about ethics. We're talking about products that mirror us as humans more and more. Those types of technologies are the most successful because they help us as humans become more successful in the things that we're setting out to do. The flip side to this is the idea of transparency. We want our technology, when it falls short, to be humble and actually honest about its limits. We don't want our Amazon Alexa to make jokes when she can't answer a question that we have. We want her to be transparent about what she can and can't do, as silly as that sounds. Next is the idea of addition by subtraction. And you might be familiar with this concept, but I think it's really important to understand it and actually apply it to our work. Unless you're offering more with less friction, offering more will ultimately make the experience worse. This is relevant when talking about adding a feature to a product and also adding an element to a screen. Barry Schwartz proved this to be true through his psychological studies, which he ended up turning into a book called The Paradox of Choice. I haven't read the whole book, but the paradox is that autonomy and freedom of choice are critical to our well-being, and choice is critical to freedom and autonomy. He explains that overloading people with choices can easily cause anxiety, and that choice has not actually made us freer, but more paralyzed. Not happier, but actually more dissatisfied. Algorithms get a bad rap, and they certainly do have negative effects, but they are one way of solving for decision fatigue, because they essentially get rid of supposedly unwanted options for you. One of the most interesting things I got out of the book was an understanding of a huge shortcoming of big companies. Companies like Google, Apple, Amazon, and Disney all struggle to get their individual teams on the same page working towards one goal. The challenge, how do we create one coherent face to the user, is one that still hasn't fully been overcome. The story told in this section of the book is one about Disney. Disney has these magic bands that you can buy before your visit to the park. They allow you to engage with all of the plans and choices you've made for your trip through their mobile app. You can redeem fast pass selections, enter any of the theme parks, unlock your resort hotel room door, connect PhotoPass images to your account, and charge food and merchandise purchases to your room. Ideally, you can order food through this app and a server will find you wherever you are in the park and deliver this food to you like magic. The teams at Disney have tons of cool ideas that go far beyond these current capabilities, but they haven't gotten done. For years and years, they've essentially been arguing across teams about who should have ownership over these ideas, who should make decisions, who should call the shots on these things, what the goals actually are, and they just can't seem to get on the same page enough to make any progress with these cool ideas. Having worked for just myself and a partner, I've worked on small teams, I've worked on big teams, I just found it really interesting to read in detail about the internal struggles that big, successful companies face. It begs the question, what kind of team or company is ideal for creating lasting change and big advancements in the tech industry? Do you need the resources of a big company but the structure of a smaller company? Is that even possible? No one really knows what the answer is. My favorite quote from the entire book is, "There's no such thing as a normal human." When I posted this on my Instagram, someone commented, "Normal is just a setting on the dryer," and I loved that so much. Not only is this just a great life lesson, but it's extremely important to remember this whenever you're designing anything. Our capabilities as humans living life are always changing. From moment to moment, we're subject to our environment, changing of context, and just human messiness. More often than not, design improvements meant to help people on the edges end up helping the mainstream as well. Think about someone who was born with only one arm. You have to design for that person. But also think about someone who is carrying 6 bags of groceries, fumbling with their keys, and trying to use their phone all at the same time. That person will also benefit from you not designing for the illusory average or normal person. To wrap up, I want to talk a little bit about how this book changed my outlook and my approach to my own design work. Before, I thought of user experience design as this new digital modern concept. Now I know so much more about the people who pioneered product design even before the digital age. I'm now able to think more about the stakes of my designs. Before, I'd certainly use research methods and testing to help put myself in my user's shoes, but now I find myself looking forward more and trying to predict the shortcomings and failures that my design decisions could lead to. Because of the Disney example that I mentioned before, I also have a different outlook on team and company structures. It opened my eyes to obstacles that I never would have thought about before. And as a freelancer, that knowledge will help me go into each company that I work with just that much more prepared. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments if there are any other books you'd like to see me summarize. I feel like this type of video is a great way for me to share what I'm learning and save you some time. So if you're into it, I will definitely make more of these. Thanks so much for watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!